on emotions, though, Tom, you must be starting to feel some level of excitement now. A lot of talk. Ben Jacobs yesterday saying, should there be any appetite from Isak, a British transfer record could again be smashed by Liverpool in the pursuit of this number 9. Thoughts on that?
I don't know how to react to all this because I've never seen my club in this position where they want to go buy and spend a lot of money all at once. Very, very happy, first of all. We need a number 9. He is best in class. He is exactly what you'd want Liverpool to get as a striker. Premier League experience, got a great track record, still, just about to enter his prime. Perfect signing. The fact that I read today, price isn't a problem. We'd pay whatever it takes to get him. Again, really good ambition from the football club. Instead of doing what we've done in the past, where we get all the way up to the top of the mountain and then sit on our arse and let everyone else climb back past us, we're now trying to make sure we maintain our position at the very top of the table and getting that succession plan in place to replace Mohamed Salah in 2 years' time. Rather than panic when he goes and try and get whoever in, it seems like we're trying to get all the pieces in place so that in 2 years' time when he does go, we're ready to just kick on with more sort of fuss. It does, as you said, though, it's going to require Isak to say he's interested in the move, which I think he is. I don't see why he wouldn't be interested in the move. And it's going to require Newcastle being willing to deal, which, again, not easy, but I do think it could happen because every player's got a price. Newcastle this year are going into the Champions League again. We all saw how last time they were in the Champions League, they struggled for a good couple of months because their squad couldn't handle both Champions League and Premier League football at the same time. It really started to struggle and they had a real wobble and I think they finished like 8th or something. Now, losing Isak would be a major blow. We're not stupid here. Then Newcastle are not going to buy a striker better than Isak in the immediate term. But what Newcastle could do if they sold Isak for 130, 140 is use that, spend 80 to 100 on a striker or whatever it takes. And then they've got an extra, 50, 60, 70 quid wiggle room, which they can go put on squad players to mean that across the season, they're going to be more competitive and get themselves back into the Champions League the next year. And then all of a sudden, the whole thing they've had around PSR and everything, that starts to get alleviated because they're getting consistent revenue from being in the Champions League consistently. Their PSR concerns came from the fact that they didn't get any European football after spending Champions League money. So they have to try and make it up somehow. But if they can build a squad that can handle both situations, I think it's worthwhile. When every team is building, a star has to be sacrificed along the way. I can't think of many teams that have built from mid-table mediocrity to the top of the game, which is what Newcastle want to do, without there being a big sacrifice along the way for the betterment of the team. And in Newcastle's case, wishful thinking, but I'm hoping it's Isak is sacrificed for the British record fee. It's not like we're paying pennies.
Do you think he goes for 130?
I think it'd be between 140 and 150.
Yeah, it'll take a lot of money.
I think it's less.
I've got a question.
I think it's less.
Is that 130 to 150 million pounds worth more than Isak staying? Because I hear what you're saying in terms of you can't, if they spend that money, can go and just get this next big striker. Let's say they go and spend it on Gyökeres or Sesko or Ekitike or one of those are expensive strikers, right? They go get one of those and then they fill it out with squad players. What if those guys aren't good enough, even though they spent money on it, right? And they go backwards from selling Isak. In their mind, if that happened, it would be they would have rather kept Isak, who's given them proof who can get them into the Champions League, than these players who maybe not. So is Isak worth 150 million for them?
Can I talk on this, Tom? Can I talk on this? So, look, I think what people aren't really thinking about is the player. Look, we need to think about what Isak wants. And Isak's gone to Newcastle and he's provided a hell of a job for them. Like 20 plus goals a season. He's got them into the Champions League already. He's just won them their first cup in 80 years. Isak has ambition. Newcastle have ambition. Well, you have to ask the question to Isak, in the next 2 years, do you think Newcastle are going to win the Premier League or the Champions League? And the honest question is, probably not. So Isak's going to a club that can. And that's the question that needs to be asked. Everyone can talk about Newcastle. Oh, Newcastle got all the money in the world and they don't want to sell. Think about the poor player.
The irony.
Players given Newcastle blood, sweat, and tears and won them a trophy because he scored the winner. He scored the winner. So
the irony of you guys, as Liverpool fans, talking about player preferences right now is a disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
I haven't said anything, KJ.
When one of your players had a chance to leave because he completed the football with Liverpool,
he had a fantastic debut yesterday, by the way. I really enjoyed watching his debut yesterday.
It's oh no, but think of the player. Oh, think of what he wants. Disgrace. Absolutely.
Man United can talk when they're booting out Rashford and everyone else.
Henry?
If I should turn it around, I would love that, but it is what it is.
You think he leaves for 130?
I don't think 130. I think they'd want as close to 150 as they can get it, and I think that I don't think we're going to be so stuck in negotiations that we'd only pay 130. I think that from everything I've read about us and Isak, we seem to value him even higher than Wirtz.
It's 120 million flat fee with then add-ons.
I think we'd pay. I think we'd try and get it as close to 100 million guaranteed, and then try and get as many bonuses. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's like 110.
How many other
guaranteed.
forwards do you think you're? Obviously, Nunez is the likelihood he's going to go. Do you think Diaz goes as well?
I don't think Diaz goes now because Barca went for Nico Williams. So I feel like I think Diaz's mind was always Barca or no one. And as much as I'd like the Saudi money because they'd pay mega money for him, I think that in his mind, he'd rather stay in Europe. So I don't think Diaz is going to go this summer. I think Nunez will go.
What about Chiesa?
I'm unsure on Chiesa will go, but I barely count him now anyway. And I'm a bit unsure on Diogo Jota. It's just about whether Sousa's coming for Jota. But I'd lean on him not going for now. For us, the majority of the money we're going to make is going to come from a Nunez and probably the homegrown players that we sell. I mean, Quantz looks like he's going to get a move to Leverkusen for close to 40 million quid.
Do you think Harvey Elliott will go as well?
I think Harvey Elliott's definitely going to go because he can't do another year of not playing. So that'll be another one who I think we value at around 40 million quid or a little bit more. And then we've got some kids who, but Liverpool are very good at selling these fringe players. So like you'll see us, you'll see us at the end of the season, and we'll have sold like 130 million quid worth of players, and only one first team player will have went. You went, how have they done that? Then you'll see this random academy kid went for 20 million quid. So Diaz is the one that I'm a little bit unsure. It all depends on if Diaz wants Saudi. If Diaz is willing to go to Saudi for the money, then we'll sell him and we'll get 80 million quid.
So you're looking at bringing in probably 100 million quid back from all the sales.
I reckon. More. I reckon it'll be like 150 without Diaz.
Yeah,
and maybe a little bit more.
I reckon. I reckon they can. You've got to remember. Hang on, you just got to remember it. Don't even question it, Henry. And I'll tell you why you can't question it. They got a combined total of nearly £50 million for Jordan Ibe and Brewster.
Oh, Ryan Brewster.
Yeah. So the point is, if you get nearly £50 million for those two, it's just one of those things. I don't mean to shut down conversation, but let's not waste any oxygen on a hot day like this, wondering whether Liverpool are either the greatest negotiators in the world or they cook their books. It's one of the two. But either way, they show massive income for players. But look, we're adding.